Hi.
Hello, I'm Tyler.
Rhonda.
Great to meet you,
Nice to meet you.
Rhonda.
Come on in.
Oh, thank you for having me.
My name is Ronda Rousey, and Tyler might recognize me as being the first women's UFC champion.
This is a pretty cool location.
It
I love
is.
it.
It's real special to me. We are at the Redwood Bar and Grill. This is an authentic pirate bar. I got offered a job at this bar at the 2008 Olympics. When I was first working here, I was moving away from being an Olympic athlete and on to the unknown. And I'm now moving on to the unknown again, and I would appreciate some guidance.
Sometimes objects will actually help, I think, kind of bring in a person or make a connection. So, do you have any objects?
Yes, I
cool.
do.
All right, so we can just put it right here, and we'll see what we do. Cool. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a minute, scribble, get in the zone. We'll see if anything pops in. There's a man that comes through real heavily, and he's just kind of showing me basically my symbol for getting to live like closer to middle age, but not really reaching my elderly age. They are for some reason having me talk about, like on Dad's side, there's this individual who would have really been heavily involved in like fishing, and this keeps coming in as like making fishing trips, doing the fishing, it's coming in. Would anyone connected on Dad's side of family have any connections to this object? Perfect. There was this reference to a lot of emotional instability. Sometimes if people end their lives or take their own life, obviously that can sometimes kind of contribute, but they're having me kind of talk about this feeling of like, I was unwell before I passed. It just feels really, like, tragic is kind of the way I would describe it. So, they're having me talk about the intending to go to a car. So, I have to figure out what this is, but there's a whole situation where someone, it's tricky. So this isn't like car accident thing, it's not that. But they're talking about a vehicle, but putting this around someone's like last moments, someone's life. It feels weird. Does that mean anything?
Yeah, oh, my dad, he had broke his back, and he happened to have a really rare blood disorder that kept him from healing, similar to hemophilia. It doesn't allow you to clot your blood. And so he was slowly, for years, getting platelet transfusions and trying to put rods in his back, everything. And eventually they said, you're gonna be a paraplegic and then a quadriplegic, and then you're gonna die. And there's nothing we can do about it. And so my dad decided to take matters in his own hands because he was in a huge amount of pain every day. He couldn't work anymore. He felt like he was just a drag on the family. And he was very much like a person who takes care of everyone. And he drove his car out and he put a hose in the exhaust.
I'm sorry.
I was 8 years old. I remember that when he passed, I would just try to just tell myself that he was on a business trip and he'd be back. And that was my way to cope with it. Sorry, I don't want to get into it too much. But I wouldn't be crying unless he was awesome. He was the best.
I'm so sorry they had to experience that.
He was a really tough guy, though. Like, I never knew. Like, the whole time he was sick, he never let us know.
Right.
We didn't know he was dying. He kept it a secret until the end.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm sure he didn't want to be a burden.
Yeah. Well, he said he didn't want our last memories of him to be in a bed with tubes running in and out of him. So, you know, I've never resented anything.
It's a very incredibly difficult point to be in life, but he comes across completely, like there's a lightness in the way that this feels.
I just wish I knew him as a man and not just as my dad, you know? Like, now that I've got older, I have like the pleasure and the honor of being able to know my mom as a woman. And I wish I could have had that with my dad. But, you know, that's what I have, and I'm happy for what I got. I got to have 8 years of amazing.